The following is a presentation of Muddy River News.
Hi, I'm Mark McDonald in Quincy at the Quincy University North Campus, where it might surprise you to find that behind this seminary building is another building, and if you go to downstairs, you'll find a state-of-the-art television studio.
So it's kind of a broad range of items that we teach out here at Quincy University, and it actually gives the students kind of a choice of what area they want to excel in after graduation.
That's on the next edition of Muddy River Gems.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad, and joining me today is Richard Elsenpeter, and Richard is with Together with Tri-State Veterans. You're basically the facilitator. Am I getting that right?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay, so not basically, you are the facilitator, and just in a nutshell, basically we're here today to talk about something very, very important, something that is a very unfortunate statistic, but veterans suicide, right?
It is.
Okay.
Most people do not realize that, and I didn't either until I started working with this organization, that Together with Tri-State Veterans, how prevalent suicide is among the veterans.
Right.
There are actually more veterans that commit suicide in the rural communities than the urban communities.
I find that really interesting, and I know we talked about that a little bit before going live, but it makes sense that rural communities see, a higher incident rate of this. But do you want to give us kind of just a small rundown of why, kind of facts show or studies show why that is?
And you're absolutely right. There is no definitive one cause.
Right.
Suicide is a complex issue with many, many different causes. Some people think it's because of this, some people think it's because of that. But the studies show that there are more veterans commit suicide in the rural communities, and the reason they believe that is because there's less access to services, more isolation, more access to weaponry.
Right.
Because about 71% of veterans that commit suicide do it by firearm.
Sure. And I would imagine that a lot of them are, like you said, they do have closer access to firearms. So yeah, that definitely makes sense. It's a very big issue, and it's so sad in my mind because they worked so hard, they dedicated their lives to serving our freedoms, and I think we need to do a better job. So I'm glad that you're here to talk about what you're doing, what your organization is doing. Can you talk a little bit about how Together with Tri-State Veterans basically was created?
I worked with, I'm a two-service, 25-year retired veteran.
Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you. When I retired in 2001, I came back into the Quincy, Adams County area. Since then, I've helped create 4 different veteran service organizations, 501c3s, to help veterans through different difficulties. I am working on my 5th one right now. And because of some of this great work we've done with some of these other organizations, it was brought to our attention about Together with Veterans and veteran suicide in the rural communities, and they wanted us to try to pick that up here in the Adams County area. I didn't think it was appropriate for the other organizations that I was working with, so I went ahead and approached the American Legion, because the Together with Tri-State Veterans has to be a veterans-led, veterans-run organization.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Veterans are much more comfortable talking to other veterans than they are to non-veterans.
Right.
Everybody that has a grandpa that served or an uncle that served, and you ask them, what did you do in the military? If you ever served in war? They're usually pretty quiet.
They don't like to talk about it. My grandfather didn't like to talk about it. Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. I didn't see anything.
Right.
Which we all know is not true. But they don't want to relive. So it is much easier for veterans to talk to other veterans because they know there's no judgment. They all know that we've had shared experiences with it. So I approached the American Legion Post. They thought there would be something they definitely wanted to come on board with. So we created the Together with Tri-State Veterans to help bring that awareness to veteran suicide within the area. So that's kind of things in a nutshell. And we are VA approved. We are VA funded. We are VA sanctioned with this. We had a 2.5-year contract with the VA to run this program. And because of some of the great things we're doing, they actually extended that to a 3-year contract.
Great.
So we are now in our third year of Together with Tri-State Veterans.
Okay. So then how does that, do they just keep extending that if you keep making progress? Or how does that work?
We'll
see.
Yeah. We will see.
Okay.
Because with it is we have a 3-year contract, and at the end of that contract, you are supposed to become self-sufficient and continue running this by yourselves.
I see.
And be self-funded.
Okay.
But some organizations continue it. Some people say that, we fulfilled our obligation, kind of like being in the service.
Sure.
You fulfilled your contract,
Sure.
you get out.
Okay.
So we are in our third year of our contract. We, at the end of 2023, early 2024, our contract will be up, and we haven't really decided if we're going to continue or if we're going to just let it sunset.
Okay.
With it. So we don't know what's going to happen. We
Okay.
don't know if they will say, you guys are doing such a great job, we want to continue
Sure.
the contract. So we don't know.
So do you see, because I know, unfortunately, suicide, in general seems to be increasing. Do you see kind of a parallel with, because I would imagine that, yes, veterans committing suicide because, they the resources, kind of the lack of awareness maybe, or the lack of wanting to talk, or, all kinds of factors, like you said, combined with general pressure, from society, from cost of living, from, let's even say homelessness. Let's talk, do you see the parallel? I guess my question would be, do you see the need for this increasing?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Right.
The statistics, actually, I was surprised. Veteran suicide within Illinois has actually decreased.
Okay.
From the last statistics. In 2019, there was about 164 veterans that committed suicide.
In Illinois?
In Illinois.
Okay.
That was in Illinois alone. About 164, I believe, committed suicide in 2019. Mm-hmm. I fully expected those numbers to go up. With COVID, isolation, job insecurities, food insecurities, I really did think the numbers were going to go up.
Right.
But the last survey that we received is actually veteran suicide in Illinois has dropped. We had 151 veterans in 2020 that committed suicide. So because of organizations like this, because of campaigns like we're doing, we are having an impact. Mm-hmm. But that is, again, we'll have to wait and see what these statistics show on the long run, how well we're doing.
Still 151 too many.
That is, one is too many.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sad part is, so many times when we are talking to people about veteran suicide, veterans in crisis, veterans homelessness, within the tri-state region, a lot of people that's not here in Quincy.
Yeah.
There's no homelessness in Quincy because they don't see it. There are no homeless camps in Washington Park.
Right.
There aren't, people wandering up and down the streets.
Yeah, typical signs of,
you don't see it. So since you don't see it, you don't think about it. So there are no, according to when I talk to people, there are no homeless veterans within Quincy. There are no suicides in Quincy.
Yeah.
But it's not true.
Yeah.
We lost one just about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We lost another veteran to suicide. When I was part of the Tiny Home Project, we had our second recipient received our house. He succumbed to his demons a few weeks ago and committed suicide.
So sad. And, like you said, it's not, it is here. It does exist. It's unfortunate that, people have because we can't see it, it doesn't exist thing. But it's very unfortunate that we need programs like this, campaigns like this, but I am glad that you and your team are taking it on. What are some specific, I guess, kind of tasks or strategies that you're undertaking to kind of help bring awareness and help people overcome some of these demons?
We have, in the year and a half that we started to organize, put things together, educate ourselves on the community, we came up with a strategic plan of about 18 different topics that we wanted to cover. We then started taking on each one, prioritizing them into what's the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, all the way up to the 18th item. Every month we review those. Each month we decide if we want to change the priority on some of those. And one of the first ones we wanted to do was, when there are a ton of resources for veterans, But whenever you look those up on the internet, you try to find apps for those things, you'll find out that a lot of these agencies that help veterans are in Springfield. They're in Joliet, they're in Chicago,
Yeah,
they're above
not local.
Highway 80. They're not something, and when you're in depression or anxieties, it's hard to get up out of bed and out of your own home. More or less drive to Springfield,
Sure.
call somebody in Chicago to try to get answers and help. So we wanted to create a Veterans Resource Guide, something that was, local. So we created our Veterans Resource Guide to go ahead and help veterans on the local level. So all of the resources here are local resources.
Okay.
Veterans, there are organizations in here that are specifically veteran. There are others that are not specifically veteran, but veterans are served by them. So we wanted to create that. But now we created it, how do we get it out to people?
Sure.
So what we did then is we created a Veterans Resource Rack. That rack holds about 5 different
Like pamphlets. Mm-hmm.
Brochures and things like that. So I was told one time, I said, well, create a website. We'll create a website.
Yeah.
And somebody said, people don't use websites anymore.
Yeah.
They go to apps.
Yeah.
I'm like, darn, I'm just an old guy.
Well, I mean, it changes so quickly. I can't even keep up with it either. So.
Well, it is. So we went ahead and one of the things we did is we put apps. So these are specific veterans organizations or information that veterans can get that are apps they can download to their phone. We have our Veterans Resource Guide, our kind of our brochure about who we are and what we do.
Right.
We have a brochure about veteran suicide for older veterans or gun safety. We started putting those up. Our first one we put up was at the Quincy Town Center, Quincy Mall.
Uh-huh.
So we have about 20 of these put up around the Quincy area. So the Quincy Mall is one. We have the Blessing Hospital has some. We have it at Smith Brothers. We have it at John Wood Community College. We have them at the police department. We have them at the city hall. We have them at the library.
Okay.
So we have these up because veterans can be very leery about walking into a clinic or medical facility and try to ask for help.
Sure.
So we wanted to put these where they would be non-threatened. If they're trying to get their steps in, they're just trying to walk a few miles.
Right.
If we put it up at the Quincy Town Center,
There
they're
you
getting
go.
their miles in. They can stop by and pick these things
And it's
up.
kind of self-access and self-help, which is kind of what you said. A lot of veterans are, I don't want to call them stubborn because it's not stubborn, but it is definitely, we're fine. We want to be able to do things on our own. We're used to being self-dependent, right? So this is a really good way to at least make sure that it's accessible.
And you are absolutely right. Veterans are very self-reliant.
Yes.
They do not want to admit. A veteran is always supported, when he was in the service, he was always supported by his team, his squad, his company, his platoon. He never went anywhere alone, so they were always dependent on each other. They had that family connection with each other. That's why they call them brothers and sisters, because they had such a strong connection. But when you get out, that's all gone.
Kind of goes away. Yeah.
It goes away. You feel very alone. You feel very isolated. You don't feel like you have that support anymore. So we wanted to go ahead and put it places where they are comfortable. They can walk in and pick it up, and hopefully, if they have a question, they can call us and ask us.
Right.
Or they can, go to some of the resources that are there. So.
Excellent. And like you mentioned, the brotherhood. So you are kind of recreating that brotherhood together with Tri-State Veterans, since you are all veterans. Again, thank you for your service, not just in the military, but carrying it on with this campaign and this program. It's very much appreciated by myself, and I'm sure a lot of veterans who are looking for help will hopefully reach out, and even if they go to one of the self-access racks. So I appreciate you coming on and chatting with me.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah,
I appreciate the opportunities. Well,
absolutely. Appreciate it. It was nice to meet you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Coming up, it's Oscar Cliff Notes time with Mr. Ron Kinscherf.
Quincy Warehouse Bargains is your Quincy home improvement store. It's the only store of its kind in the Quincy area. We offer flooring, mattresses, area rugs, dining sets, couches, appliances, and much more. And have more products to come so we can better serve the Quincy and Tri-State community. Our staff is ready to help you find what you need to make your house a home. Quincy Warehouse Bargains, 4100 North 24th Street, Quincy.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now
more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be, before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan-favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too, now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center.
Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy. What if there was one thing that could improve your mood, productivity, and, well, overall health? There is. It's called a good night's sleep. Harvey's Furniture offers industry-leading beds from Bemco, Chatham & Wells, as well as Spring Air. Harvey's Furniture. Our home, your home.
Hi, this is Ron Kinscherf. Welcome back. It's time for another edition of Muddy River News Oscar Cliff Notes.
Who's got Oscar fever? We do. Who's got Oscar fever? It's time for Muddy River's Oscar Cliff Notes.
Well, you should know by now that Muddy River News is going through all 10 Oscar nominations for Best Film, because there's no way you can check out all 10 films. So it's our duty to fill you in on what these 10 films are about. So today we're going to take a look at the movie Tar. Now, this is about a gal named Lydia Tarr. She is a revolutionary composer and orchestra leader, the best female ever and one of the best of all time. Flat out protege, flat out genius. And she runs into troubles as she is accused of sexual harassment based on a variety of relationships she's had during the course of her career. Her life starts unraveling, she falls into a state of depression, and life just goes down from there. So, without any further ado, here is Tar with Muddy River News Oscar Cliff Notes.
I'm Lydia Tarr. I'm the most successful composer in the world. I've won an Emmy. I've won an Oscar. I've won a Tony. And I've won a Grammy. I've been accused of something awful, horrendous. And I'm starting to see things. I'm starting to hear things. Those that love me no longer love me. What's a girl to do? Hello, everyone. I'm Lydia Tarr. Let us begin.
That's another edition of Muddy River News Oscar Cliff Notes. I'm Ron Kinscherf. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us for Muddy River News Oscar Cliff Notes. Produced by Ron Kinscherf. Directed by Ron Kinscherf. Cinematography, Ron Kinscherf. Writing and editing, Ron Kinscherf. Wardrobe, Ron Kinscherf. Lighting and sound, Ron Kinscherf. And choreography, Ron Kinscherf. Join us again next time for Muddy River News Oscar Cliff Notes.
Thanks, Ron. Not sure I'll be seeing that one. However, I don't recommend missing Coffee Talk with Britt B. and Ash C. We'll see you tomorrow.
Muddy River News. Our home, our news.